about not necessarily RPAC. But I wanted to kind of talk more about the Missouri Realtor Party and what we're doing. RPAC is obviously the Realtors Political Action Committee, where we raise funds to help our efforts of the Missouri Realtor Party. We had a really great, successful 2021 legislative session, and 2022 is already kicked off this month. We will actually start going back to the Capitol for Realtor Days starting next week. Franklin County is signed up. So if this is something that you guys are interested in advocating for, get a hold of Amanda and let her know that you guys want to attend. It is open to all of your members on the day that you guys have signed up. What we basically do is ask our members to come and talk to your elected officials. We provide you guys with brief talking points. We pull them off the floor. It's super casual. You know, it's just like talking to your neighbor and saying, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're looking at that affects my business directly, things of that nature. So let Amanda know if that's something you're interested in. We just posted our 2022 talking points on our website. So if you go to the Missouri Realtors webpage under advocacy, there's Realtor Days, and then there's another button under that has talking points. So I just wanted to quickly and briefly go over those of what we're going to be discussing this year. These are basically small bullet points of legislative bills that we're working on. I don't have the bill numbers with me right in front of me right now, but I'll have them for sure by next week. So eviction moratoriums. Great, awesome. So basically that's the first topic we're going to cover. The majority of Missouri's landlords, we understand, are more individual investors, not big corporations. So knowing that we have eviction moratoriums in place almost every single month, we realize that this escalates the risk of losing increased rental housing and providing that. So we support legislation basically that prohibits Missouri's local governments from placing eviction moratoriums.
Great.
Sound good? Any questions? Feel free to interrupt me if you guys have any questions that come up. Low-income housing tax credits is back on the chopping block. There's been several attempts to either significantly limit or to completely do away with low-income housing tax credits. And I'm sure that you guys know this, being brokers, that developers that use low-income housing tax credits are required to maintain a property for up to 30 years and keep those properties rented to the targeted populations. And our position on LIHTC is also what you'll hear it referred to as low-income housing tax credit, is similar to our position that we had last session on the historic tax credit. We're willing to work with basically all of the parties to find a solution that preserves the programs to provide the assistance that it's supposed to provide. So we basically are saying that we urge support for appropriate changes for LIHTC to ensure that it will continue to provide a safe and affordable housing for those targeted populations. A lot of them, you know, it's not just the poor, it's also the elderly, disabled, and low-income housing for sure. MONA is the Missouri Non-Discrimination Act. This unfortunately has come up in legislation for the past 30 or so years, according to Sam. Sam Luecker, if you didn't know him, he's our chief lobbyist who's there every day in Jefferson City. Great guy, has been with us for 53 years now. Awesome dude, really knows what he's talking about whenever it comes to real estate. So basically, whenever it comes to Missouri Non-Discrimination Act in Missouri and why we support it is because technically it is still legal to fire somebody, evict them from their home, or kick them out of a restaurant because they are LGBTQ or someone thinks that they're LGBTQ. We see on the federal level that, you know, that people are protected at work from being discriminated against, but that doesn't apply to all states. So the state legislature has to pass MONA in order for LGBTQ to be recognized as non-discriminatory. Basically, we urge the General Assembly to extend the protection of discrimination in employment, housing, and all public accommodations. Is there any questions on that? Cool. And then a new one this year that I found actually pretty intriguing is restricted covenants. I have not briefed up on this as much as I should, and I'm definitely going to. So basically, many older of the subdivisions in Missouri include covenants that prohibit a property's sale to individuals based on race, color, religion, or natural origin. And these covenants are void and unenforceable by both the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court. So basically, we find these restricted covenants objectionable and strongly supports legislation. And that's basically it for 2022. It all seems pretty cut and dry, pretty, of course, that's what we want to support. That's what we want to do. Whenever it comes to Mona, things of that nature, we believe that it also could cut off some work employment. We don't want, companies to move out of state because some of their employers don't feel protected. We don't want people to not come to Missouri because they don't feel protected. So thinking about it from an economical standpoint, that's another big factor that we want to hone in on. Is there any questions as far as those legislative key talking points? Maybe not. Very good. So like I said, we are going to go to Jefferson City quite a few times, throughout the next coming months on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Amanda, do you have the date for your guys' Realtor Days? Is it the 16th?
February 16th. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So basically what we do is invite you guys down, like I said, give you guys brief talking points, talk to your legislators. And once we do that, we go over to the Capitol, we'll pull them off the floor, bring your business cards so they actually know who you guys are. And then basically we're done, and then we take you guys to lunch, and that's it. So it's a super quick morning, flies by pretty quick. As far as RPAC goes, we really would like to get our brokers more involved this year. I can sit here and talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but honestly, agents aren't going to listen to me if their brokers aren't invested either. So I would hope that maybe we can get brokers involved together as a united front, because that's whenever our voices are stronger. Whether you guys want to do a get together, I know Franklin County Association hosts, I think you guys might be the only association in the United States that has a float trip. For sure, which is pretty incredible. The fishing derby I actually also went to, which is super fun. I'm gonna have to miss it this year because I'll be out on maternity leave during that time. But that'll be something I'll definitely be able to bring my kids to next year. So I like the fact that you guys have a ton of RPAC family friendly stuff. And then the wine tour, which is where I get like a babysitter, and then I come to that too. So you guys have super fun events that support a good cause. And it actually goes back to helping your guys' business and protecting your consumers. And the more that you know about RPAC and the more that you can invest. I know that a lot of our major investors wear their pins to all of their meetings. People are like, oh, what's that? And it's like, basically, I know everything. So you're in good hands. It really helps with sales, stuff like that, and closings. So is there any questions that I can answer as far as RPAC, fundraising, legislative talking points? We also do community outreach. I know that Franklin County has in the works of working on some more community outreach projects. Hopefully this year that'll happen. Not sure if we can discuss that just yet because we're still in the working progress of it, but any questions at all? Great.
Thank you, Molly. If anybody has any questions, ask them now, or we'll, and if you think of something later, let us know. We can get a question to Molly and get back to you.
Yeah, I just have two more talking points. Sorry. Sam, our chief lobbyist, is coming out with a blog. So you guys will be able to access all of his legislative updates and information. We're going to find this very helpful as there's 3 of us regional advocacy coordinators in the state of Missouri, and Sam's kind of the key holder of all the talking points. So even though we all work together on a daily basis from far away, we find it beneficial to have his blog up there so people can ask him directly questions that they might have. So be sure to keep your eye out for that. And then also with municipal elections coming up this year, I have multiple boards. Not only do we support candidates with RPAC, but we actually support issues as well. Last year, or was it 2 years ago, Cape Girardeau, we passed a $12 million school bond, non-tax, to help some of the schools in the area that are in like the lower income part of Cape Girardeau just be up to par and updated so they are just as good as the other school districts in the area. And then once we developed that, we actually saw a rise in the housing market in those areas. So we also do things around the community, not just support candidates. like we all know that the political environment is quite toxic and disgusting these days, federally speaking, not statewide. But yeah, I just want to make that very clear that we don't work for politicians. Politicians listen to us, and we make that very clear. That's all.
Well, thank you, Molly. And Molly's been with us 5 years. We just won our 5th President's Circle. I think there might be a relation there. I'm not sure, but anyway, thank you, Molly. And I'm quite proud of our whole board and all of our agents and all the efforts that we have accomplished in the last several years with RPAC and just in general, but especially RPAC.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Molly.
All right. So next up, Amanda's going to talk a little bit about our Franklin County Board of Realtors RPAC goals for 2022.
Yes, so we just received our RPAC goals for 2022. Our goal for this year is $33,314. We do have in $3,120 so far. And then our participation goal, out of our 364 members, we want at least 130 of them to participate to RPAC. That's a minimum donation or investment of $15. And we currently have in 93. So like Molly said, getting the brokers to buy in is crucial.
Okay.
Back to you, Steve.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so next up is just a reminder, the dues are due the 31st of January. So you have 5 days away to get your dues in to avoid paying any type of late fees. Currently, we have 67% of dues paid. There's 120 people left to pay, but there's been quite a bit of activity yesterday and so far this morning, people wanting to get that taken care of. So we're excited to get that behind us and move on with the rest of the year. Just a couple of subjects that we need to talk about the importance of, and one of those is the importance of Supras. Supras are a really great tool that we have as realtors, and it helps us and it helps our fellow realtors, and it really helps our homeowners because it gives better security to our homeowners. And we can also manage our listings much better, knowing who's been there opening the box, when they've opened it. And it also helps facilitate the scheduling on the MLS. And it just would really be good to have it constant throughout the whole area. So we're trying to help this year to get everybody throughout our membership in the 3 counties to use the super keys and the super boxes, and we have the boxes available. If you need any more information on that, we can get used boxes and new boxes available here at the board office. So what's happening this year? Well, as Molly talked about, we have Realtor Days coming up in February. And I didn't know this, but I guess we have a world-renowned float trip amongst our packers, and that's coming up in July. Fishing this fall, which has always been a lot of fun with the kids. And we don't know the exact date, but probably May or June, there'll be a wine tour. Last year was a extremely successful RPAC event for the Franklin County Board. There's going to be a lot more coming up, but that's just kind of the overview of what we have going on now. As everybody knows, this year, the next thing on the list is that this is a license renewal year. And make sure that your addresses, and make sure all your agents, all you brokers, check with your agents. And if you're an agent on here, make sure your fellow agents have their addresses updated with the MREC. It's something to easily overlook if you've moved. And besides that, it's a violation you don't want to get caught at. So get that done so all your mailings get to the correct location. Then we have the 12 hours of CE required for fair housing as a core this year. And we have scheduled this year, we have 5-6 dates already. March, we have the most common home defects continuing ed. April, that's March 24th. April 13th, agency is the key to serving the public. And that'll be at the KC Hall here in Union. I don't think the others are at Hagee's. April 21st, we have residential structural inspection. May 26th, managing home inspections. That's at Hagee's. And then June 24th, basic heating and cooling systems at Hagee's. So I would, hopefully everybody can either go online or use the services that we are providing for you and get your continuing data. Also, I'd like to recognize, because I can't really tell from where I'm at how many of the board members are. I know Hayden and Sonia are, but thank you, all the board members. I don't know if Leslie is logged on or not, but thank you for logging on and taking time out of your busy day. The other thing I want to share with everybody is on these state meetings and talking about Sam Licklider, you don't have to go to the meeting or attend. For instance, if you wanted to zoom in to the winter conference or the spring conference coming up, you can log in when the advocacy committee is meeting and you'll be able to hear Sam in person. And if you've never met him, I've met him first when I became a realtor. I became a realtor in 98 and 99 or 2000 and went to Jeff City to Realtor Days. He's quite interesting and a quite entertaining gentleman to listen to. I've always been very intrigued and I always enjoy his presentations. In closing, I'd just like to share with the rest of our membership what a strong association we have. We have great representation at the state. We have Derek Schriever, who's current treasurer of the Missouri Association, and he will be the 2024 state president. Rachel McZook is on the executive committee at the state level. Stephen Flannery is on bylaws and policy committee. Bob Borgman, advocacy committee, and Janie Schriever is on the risk management committee. And we also have Sue Ann Taylor as a director, a state director. And Amanda, who else am I missing? I think like there's somebody.
Penny's also a state director.
Oh yeah, Penny Rombach is the state director. So we have a lot of representation and a lot of hardworking people donating their time, just like at our Tri-County area. If you notice, there's a lot of great fairs in our area, and that volunteerism is carrying over right to our association. So we appreciate that. So I told Amanda we're going to get this done in 20 minutes, and we really appreciate you attending. Hopefully that the next broker agent meeting, we can get more people to attend, and we'll have more exciting news. Oh, one more thing, John Mayfield, who is just down the road from us here at, what's the name of the town again, Amanda?
Farmington.
He's only about an hour and 15 minutes away. You're going to be hearing from him. We're probably going to have John on one of the programs, and he's our state president. And by the way, the state leaders have a big job as our COE, John Sebring, has moved on to California, a really good guy. And we've had him for 7 years. He's done a super job, and he's got a big job in California, but we're hoping to find another equally qualified person to help lead the state. So, Amanda, how many people do we have log on so far?
29.
29. Thank you all, and spread the word, and hopefully more can make it next year, and we're going to get some more of these. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.